I need help measuring this table. I need to make sure that it is 6 feet. Can anybody help me? Okay, great. So let's see here. We got our ruler. We're going to measure out. Okay, you just using our, prior knowledge. I got 12 inches, and this is about another 12 inches, and so it's 24 inches. I need 6 feet. How many feet are in an inch? Or how many inches are in 1 foot? Okay, I can't remember off the top of my head, but let's see as we keep going down and down. Okay, that's about, I think that's 6 feet. That's definitely, 3 feet right there, and I know 3 feet equals something. I think it's yards, but why yards? Why can't? What is all these different terms and words and these random numbers? Man, I wish there was an easier system that I could measure with. You know what? There is. Howdy, folks. I hope you guys are having a great day. Obviously, I'm Mr. Paris, and I got my fun little lab coat, which you'll be seeing a lot of in all these videos. So, what I was doing was I was measuring this table, and it can get a little confusing at times when we start using our measurements in, say, inches and feet and yards and things like that, because it may get a little confusing as far as the terminology between the difference between feet and yards and inches, and it also will get a little bit confusing on the conversion rate, such as, like, I know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot, and there's, say 3 feet in 1 yard. But why those numbers? Why do we have to say like 12? Why not 10? So, and the other thing about it too, a little bit of history for you, is without the rulers and without a measuring tape or anything like that, people used to measure with their feet. But being humans, we have different size feet. So if somebody with this size foot walks around and says, okay, well, I just walked 6 feet, that could be a lot different than somebody wearing this size foot, right? So they came up with a system called the metric system. And this system is a simpler system in order to measure. And it uses base units of 10. What I mean by that is that they will go not by 10, so you're not counting like 10, 20, 30, 40, but you're using the power of 10 each time. So, say for instance, the base of a meter is 10. And then you go up one more to a decameter, that's going up by 100. And then you go for a hectometer, that's by 1,000. And then so on and so forth. So bear with me real quick as I help measure some items. And using our fun little handy dandy ruler, you'll be able to see that there's a centimeter side. And in this centimeter side, you'll see in between each numbers, you'll see 10 dashes. The magic number of the day, kids, is 10. And we can go even further from there. So when you look at that, for those centimeters, I can look at this bottle now and look to see that it is about 24 centimeters. Okay? And if I really wanted to, I could pull out this little pop here, measure him up, and know that he is roughly about 9.5 centimeters. And when I'm worthy enough, I can hold up Mjolnir. And when I measure him, I know that he is roughly 16 centimeters. Okay? Let me go into this PowerPoint real quick and I will explain a lot more in detail of the base unit of dealing with 10, as well as the prefixes and all the information you guys need to know on the introduction of the metric system. So come on with me real quick. Thank you guys for joining me on this side of the screen. Even though you didn't move, I did. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the introduction of the metric system. Alright? And to start it off, we're going to talk a little bit about what units are involved. Again, it's not inches, it's not feet, but there's going to be the liter, the meter, and the gram. And I know you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what do they measure? Well, I'm going to tell you. They measure length, volume, and mass. And if you don't know what mass is, in regards to science, it is basically how much matter you have and how heavy then you are. So it's very similar to weight, but it's not exactly weight. So a little fun facts as well is that, like I had said before, the metric system uses multiples of 10 to help convert the different meters, the different liters. It is also known as the SI International System of Measurement. And with that being said, it is also used all over the world. So I'll go through the basic units and they're of length, weight, and volume. So the basic unit of length uses the term meter, and that can be represented by a lowercase m. Little m. If I'm measuring mass, or again weight, I want to use the term gram, and that's represented by the lowercase g. And if I'm measuring out volume, which is mainly dealing with liquid volume, I want to measure in liters. And again, you guessed it, will be measured in a lowercase l. So, M, G, and L. Fairly simple enough so far. Again, length, if you don't know already, it is the distance between 2 points. It could be height. It could be distance from, say your house to the school. And mainly you use a meter stick or a ruler for measuring length. More specifically, a metric ruler. Most commonly on a ruler you'll find are centimeters. And again, because of that, their basic measurement unit is the meter. In volume, when we measure volume, it is occupying an object that is occupying a 3D space. So again, when we are dealing with liquid, any liquid in a bottle, those bottles will hold a specific amount of volume. Okay, and the tools that we use for that are a beaker or a graduated cylinder. And again, those are measured in liters. Okay. Again, if we're measuring weight or matter, it is also called mass. And that definition is the amount of matter or a particle in an object. Mainly you use a triple beam balance or kind of like a scale to measure this. And again, these are measured in grams. Another topic that I know we didn't cover earlier, but I'll mention it now, is we also deal with temperature. And again, temperature is basically how hot or how cold it is in a very simple definition. But the scientific definition of temperature is the measurement of kinetic, which is motion, energy of particles in an object. So if you go really fast, you get really sweaty and you're really hot. Or if you slow down and you get kind of cold, you need to put on that hoodie, you'll be good. And again, the simple tool for this is a thermometer. And again, the way we measure this are in Celsius degrees or Kelvin. And the prefixes that you'll need to know are as follows. A kilo, meaning 1,000. Hecto, meaning 100. Deca, meaning 10. And again, just the base of a liter, gram, or meter equals 1. Deci, which means 1/10. Centi, which is 1/100th. Or a milli, which is 1/1000th of a meter. So if you really also think about it this way, a standard doorway is about 1 meter long. Your fingernail is about 1 centimeter. The thickness of a dime is 1 millimeter. And 1 kilometer is about 10 football fields. So just kind of like giving you a nice little picture of how long, these terms are, and compared to just numbers on a page. So, again, some other things that you will see, such besides gram, meter, and liter, are how they're written out. So again, if I'm looking at those 10 football fields, I'm going to say kilometer. If I'm looking at my fingernail, that's a centimeter. If I'm looking at the thickness of a dime, it's called a millimeter. And those prefixes can go across the board in measuring mass, volume, or length. So, if you're measuring mass, it'll be a kilogram, it'll be a centigram, or it'll be a milligram. Same thing with volume. It could be a deciliter, a centiliter, or a milliliter. Okay? So I hope these terms weren't too confusing for you, and a nice way to remember those prefixes is coming up with some sort of mnemonic device for yourselves. One way that I like to think about it is creating a phrase, which is exactly what a mnemonic device is. It is a phrase to help remember the terminology. So if you're really having some trouble, especially with the order of all these prefixes, come up with that mnemonic device. Because it goes kilo, hecto, deca, let's just call it a base, and then deci, centi, and milli. You could, very common one is King Henry died by drinking chunky milk. Makes sense, right? So I hope you guys understood all the terminology, all the new concept of what the metric system really is, as well as the new prefixes, as well as the terms to measure. I'm going to come back to you live in a few seconds to go over some practice, answer any questions that you guys have, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Till next time, guys, take it easy.